Hey guys, so you are probably wondering where it is that I have been for almost a year. And if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you know that I have been grieving my mother. My mom passed away. We lost her on January 2nd of 2021. I'm trying really hard not to cry right now. I love my mom more than any other person in the world. She was my biggest supporter, my biggest hero. And, YouTube's not my job. It's just like a hobby that I did. And I have 80 followers now or something. I'm not even at 100. Let alone the thousands that other people have. And I think it's really cool that people do that and that they have the time to put in the production value and other stuff. For me, this is really just a hobby. But to my mom, I was a superstar. And I miss her so much every day. And we're coming up on Halloween, and Halloween was her absolute favorite holiday. She was the person who, it's so funny because when I was a teenager, I was not into hair, makeup, fashion, none of it. I was having none of it. I was a grungy, damn the man sort of kid, right? And I think my mom really enjoyed my content because we lived so far apart. She was in California and I'm up here in Oregon, and she was always really supportive of my career choices. She was always supportive of my channel. She would binge watch videos, and if she missed them, and she would just say, she'd be like, oh, I really, I like this, or oh, why did you do it this way, and why not this way? And so we would talk about it. It would be really, it would be so funny because a lot of the decisions that I would make would be, or things that I would say or wouldn't say would be because I knew my mom was going to be watching, and I didn't want to be too sassy about something and then have her call me and be like, what are you doing? Because she would. She did not, she was not a shrinking violet. First of all, she was a Leo. And if you know what that means, then you know. She was a Leo. She was also the baby of her family. She was the youngest of 12 children, and she was an absolutely amazing person. She raised me and my brother single-handedly, with the help of my grandmother. My grandmother lived with us for most of my life, and our birth father left, and he left when I was about 7 or 8, and my brother was only maybe 2 or 3 at the time. And we were both very, very young, and my birth father just decided that he didn't want a family anymore. And he just kind of left and abdicated all of his responsibilities. It took court decisions for him to pay child support, and my mom was having to fight this entire time. And I can't imagine what it was like for her to be going through a divorce, one of the most painful processes you could possibly be going through, and then having to fight for child support, having to fight someone to basically take on the responsibility that they had children. They're supposed to help you take care of them. She would work a receptionist job 9 to 5, and then from 6 to 10 o'clock at night, she worked at a drugstore. She worked at Long's drugstore. And they were always very kind and very nice to her, especially around Christmas time. They always gave her this like amazing gift card to this like beautiful like Italian restaurant that was local, and they did this every year, which was very nice. And it was meant to, you know, kind of be for like the person and their spouse or whatever to go out, have a nice night. And you know, they were really generous in that way. But what my mom would do instead was, my birthday is in December, right? And so and Italian food was like one of my favorite things. Lasagna is like, oh my God. And now like vegan lasagna is amazing. But anyway, my mom would take me to this amazing restaurant that they played pianos, like one of those restaurants where they would play live music, like they had a live piano maker, like somewhere you would take a date to like impress them, right? And my mom would take me there for my birthday, and we would use this gift card, and it always humbled me that every single time that my mom got something that was meant to elevate her life or bring joy or bring music or creativity or art to her life, she would prioritize me and my brother. She would prioritize us, and she prioritized, you know, mommy-daughter time and doing all of that. And because it was so rare that she would get the opportunity to do that, because not only did she work as a receptionist and then at Long's, but she also delivered pizzas on the weekend. So she was, you know, people talk about latchkey kids, but what they don't talk about is the parents who are forced into this incredible amount of labor just to keep their children alive, just to keep people. And back then when I was a kid, there wasn't like state sponsored insurance, there wasn't any of that stuff. Like you paid for it all out of pocket. And if you didn't have the money, well, then your kids didn't have insurance. And to take care of us, my mom she literally worked herself into sickness. She wasn't able to take care of herself. She struggled with her weight her whole life, and most people in my family have. And it is one of those things where I'm trying to break generational curses and trying to break that and trying to get my health in order. But it is so hard, because it isn't until now where I'm going through similar things, where I'm going through heartache, where I'm going through grief, where I'm grieving her and realizing that, you know, she never had the chance or opportunity to get mental health care. She never had any of those things, and she just had to keep going. And it is such a struggle. And to anyone out there who has children and is struggling, and you just feel like the world is crushing in on you, I want to figure out a way to help. I want to give something back, or find a way to get those people the help that they deserve, to give them some kind of respite, some kind of relief. Because I wish that my mom had, you know, 90 days to go to a health spa and like relearn eating patterns, relearn those things, get herself healthy, be able to take care of herself, do the inner work, you know, because when you value yourself mentally, you can start to take care of yourself physically. That is the only reason that I am 175 pounds less today than I was like 6 years ago. And the only reason I was able to even do that was because I thought I was pregnant. And I was like, I can't hurt a baby. I can't do that. And, you know, I have to get my health in order. And so I had this pregnancy scare, and that's what drove me to be healthier. And I'm still on that journey. I still have a really long way to go. But at the same time, I'm miles and miles ahead of where I was before. But the only reason I had that opportunity was because I'm in a privileged enough position that I could get mental health care, that I did have health care in general, that I did have those things. So I said all of that to say that I've been grieving. I've been going through it. I miss her so much, and I wish that I had done more to help her. And I think every day about how if I had just started my journey a little bit sooner, like maybe I could have helped her more. The last time that I saw my mother was when I graduated from college, and she visited, and I hugged her, and I said, please don't let this be the last time I hug you, because a part of me knew that she wasn't doing great, and that she needed more help. I was still struggling in my career. I was still trying to just kind of get by, and I was focused on that. And so much of me regrets that now. I wish that I had just, said to hell with my career and helped her. That's not what she would have wanted. She probably would, if she was here right now, she'd probably smack me for saying that. Because she worked so hard to help me get to that point. To instill the kind of work ethic in me that allowed me to graduate from college, that allowed me to go through and do that. I miss her so much. I miss her every day. She was the sun in my world, and she will forever be my absolute hero. And I lost my fiercest protector the day that she passed, because my mom would do things just to let me know that she loved me. She would text me just random things when, I would forget, when I would get busy, and she would just text me things and be there. She would just be there. And I still, to this day, will see something funny or hear something funny or like a joke, and I'll go to text her, and then I just realize that I can't. So please hold your loved ones really, really close. I promised myself I wouldn't start crying, but I broke my promise. Just hold your loved ones really, really close, and never let anything fester. That, I think, was my favorite thing about me and Mom, was that we didn't always get along. We didn't always agree. We drove each other crazy sometimes, because she's the youngest of 12 in her family, and I'm the oldest, and those things, oh man, we would butt heads, when it came to like my brother and like other things. And, I'm like, yeah, you've got to let people like learn how to, do it for themselves. But I think my mom knew that my brother needed her so much more, not because he was incapable, but just because he was the kind of person who really needed the support, right? And there's no shame in that. Like, you sometimes just need support from family. You need someone to kind of kind of guide you along, hold you. I always knew that my mom was supportive of me. But I'm the kind of person who, the instant you tell me not to do something is the minute I'm going to do it or I'm going to try to do it. And my mom knew that. And so I think she would sometimes like purposely challenge me and be like, oh, you can't do that. Like, that's nice, but that's not going to happen. And so in my like crazy brain, I would be like, oh yeah. Like, we'll just see about that. And, and I think she knew that. Like, I think she like knew that like hack, and, she was the most amazing mother, and I wish that I don't think she understood that when she was alive, and I hope that she does now, where she is, that she's just the most amazing, wonderful person, and that she brought joy and laughter and music to so many people, and her voice was just, her voice was just, her speaking voice was musical, but she was also a trained vocalist. She was a trained classic vocalist. She was a choir director. She was a Sunday school teacher when she was younger. Just had the biggest heart, and she would never, if she saw someone that was hungry, she would literally give her last dime to make sure that somebody ate, that somebody didn't go hungry around her. And I want to honor that memory so much, and I want people who were like her, who are struggling, who are going through that. I want you to know that you have allies, that you have people willing to help you, that you have, like, please reach out. Please build a community with me so that you have resources, so that you have things that we will, if I don't have it, then I swear I will do whatever it takes to help you find what you need and get you those resources and get you those things. I may not be a billionaire, but I am rich in resources of the mind and rich in resources of tenacity. And I never want anyone else to have to go through the kind of struggle that she went through raising us. I love you guys so much, and you've been such a supportive community. Just thank you for everything. Thank you for every card. Thank you for every message. Thank you for every like, for all of the things, especially on Instagram and Twitter, where I've like posted poems and like memorials and other things. You'll never know how much that means to me, and how much it would mean, and how much it meant to Mom when she saw you guys, like, you know, praying for her and just wishing her well. Like, she when she was in hospice after her surgery, you know, I said, hey Mom, you know, there's people on YouTube who are wishing you well, doing, you know, on Instagram. And she was like, oh, I'm famous. And so I was like, yeah, you are. I just want to say thank you again. Thank you again. And to my mom, I nicknamed her Cracklin' Rosie because her name was Rosalinda, and she is the most beautiful woman I'll ever meet in my entire life. And I hope that one day I will be half as good of a mom as she was. Thank you again. I love you guys so much, and that's where I've been.